What's going on, boys and girls? How's it going? Eric, John, Jan, and the little B. How's it going, guys? Let's see. What up, Matthew? We got Puerto Rico representing tonight. What up, Chris? How you doing, man? What is new on this Memorial Day weekend? Oh, I know something new I was going to show you guys. I need to look this up. Stuart Weaver, what up, man? Hank, how's it going? Anybody get any fishing in today? Speaking of fishing, I will show you how many fish I'm at on my 1,000 fish goal. I'm at 322. Driving home. All right. If you're driving home, listen, don't watch. Don't want to get you in trouble there. 322, man. I got to start cranking up my numbers here. I went fishing today and did not have much luck at all. And yesterday night, I was only able to go out for a couple hours and was able to get about 7 or 8 fish yesterday and then a handful today. And we have had so much rain here. We had like 13 straight days of rain. And the last day, which was Thursday, we had major flash flooding. And the water is so muddy everywhere. Gary, chasing his 2-year-old grandson around. Well, that'll keep you busy. Speaking of snakes, man, my buddy Jim had a big old rat snake crawl into this birdhouse that he has that ate the birds. He posted a picture of that snake going into his birdhouse, and it was crazy. Wish I could show you guys that. That was insane. I saw a pretty good snake in the lake yesterday. And how many of you guys have ever had a snake get in your boat? I've never had that happen. I've had them swim toward the boat, but never. John, I'm still doing it. It's a 4-day tournament over the weekend. These kayak tournaments, guys, if you have a kayak, it is so easy to get into a kayak tournament. even if you don't have a kayak tournament, it's easy to get. I mean, even if you don't have a kayak, it's easy to get into fishing tournaments for pretty cheap. There's tournaments like you can fish from the bank. In fact, Monster Bass is doing this tournament right now, which is pretty unique because anybody can sign up for this thing for $10 if you're not a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, you'll get a code in your box. But I guess they're going to have this tournament go throughout the whole year. And whenever you catch a fish, you can post it on the app. And then they're going to give random prizes for like the big fish of the week, the small fish of the week. They're going to do all kinds of stuff. And for $10 for the entire year, the amount of stuff you could win is pretty dang crazy. Yeah, the snakes are out, Gary. Yeah, so if you guys aren't familiar with how TourneyX works, I use it for kayak tournaments, but you can use it for all kinds of tournaments, and Monster Bass is doing it on theirs. Let me pull this app up here. When you pull the TourneyX app up, it looks like this. And then you got to register. You got to get a TourneyX account. You got to register for the account. And then once you register, you can go look for tournaments. And all you do is click on here. It says tourney registration. And there's just tons and tons and tons of tournaments. And they break them up by state. They break them up by activity. If you're going to kayak fish, or if you don't have a kayak, I think they have some boat tournaments. But I'll show you how easy it is to look up this Monster Bass tournament, because I think it's the very best deal going on. If you type in Monster Bass, you get this screen here. They have 3 regions. They got a California, Texas, and Florida region. They got a northern region, and they got a southern region. I live in Missouri, and they consider the southern Missouri to be in the southern region. And I'll show you the map so you can see the regions. Although this is going to be tiny. See the green? If your state is in the green, you would be in the northern region. I don't know about Canada, John. If you guys, I don't know if they include the Canadian guys or not. The yellow states are the southern region. And then the red states is just its own region, because those 3 states have really big bass. You know, it'd be hard for me to compete against somebody in Texas. So you just register, and then when you're ready to go fish, all you do is, let me go back to the home screen. When you get ready to fish, you just check in on your lake. You hit the check-in button when you get to the lake that you're going to start fishing, and then it starts recording that you're fishing. And then once you catch a fish, you hit this submit catch button, and you take a picture of the fish. And I don't know if the Monster Bass guys want you to measure the fish, but just get your measuring board, measure the fish, take a picture of the fish on the board, and submit your catch. That's all you do. And then they decide who gets the prizes. TourneyX is a lot of fun if you want to go fish a kayak. Yeah, Jan saying there's one. Snook and tarpon tournament. Yeah, there's all kinds of saltwater tournaments. There's freshwater tournaments. And a lot of those tournaments are $25, $30. They're cheap tournaments. So that might give you something a little fun to do rather than just fish. If you're just fishing for fun, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's always a great time. But if you want a challenge, and you got 20 to 30 bucks to spare, or in the Monster Bass case, 10 bucks to spare, it's a pretty good deal. In fact, if Monster Bass does the prizes the way they say they're going to, there may not be a better tournament than that one, honestly. Sweet. I may come down there for it, James. I'm thinking about it. I just don't know if I can fit it into my schedule. Mark's in the northern region. So, yeah, I'm signing up for that southern region and going to do that for fun. But I'm fishing a I'm fishing a kayak tournament right now over the Memorial Day weekend. And I really screwed up because yesterday I had 7 keepers. And they weren't huge, but one of them was probably 3 pounds and several were in the 2.5 pound class. And I was having such a good time fishing that I forgot I was in the tournament. So I did not record a single fish. And as I was getting off the water and I turned around to grab my measuring board, it hit me. Holy cow, man, you were supposed to be fishing that tournament today. So I didn't get any of my catches recorded yesterday. So I did record my catch today, but I didn't catch any decent ones. I only caught one that was even worth catching. Matthew, did you have to ask that question, man? You know the answer to that. "5 minutes from the ramp." That's cool. That should be fun. So Matthew, you've been using the tiny, huh? See, I haven't thrown it yet because I've been going to fish these tournaments, and then I get out there and I don't even remember to fish. I should have just thrown it and practiced with it. The problem is that the water is so frigging muddy right now. That clash would just be terrible. A sight-based swim bait would just be terrible right now. Yeah, you could put any kind of paint on it you want, man, and it's not going to matter. It won't hurt the action at all. I wonder, where do you fish for bass, or do you fish for bass there in Puerto Rico? I know Jan said he never has, but were you saying that there is actually some inland water somewhere that you can fish for bass? Oh, Eric's got his first jackhammer. Nice, dude. Yeah, I actually caught all my fish on a chatterbait yesterday. The day that was actually good, that I should have recorded all those fish. I was actually fishing the thunder cricket, though, on purpose. I was trying to stick only with the thunder cricket because the thunder cricket comes in the Monster Bass box, and I'm doing a video for them. And I've always liked the thunder cricket, even before I was getting any Monster Bass stuff. This is one. I think this is one of the top 3 or 4 bladed jigs out there, vibrating jigs. I do think that the jackhammer is the best. I still think it's the best. Brett Height proved how good it was this last week here out on the Harris chain there in Florida. The jackhammer is amazing, and it sounds like that stealth blade is really something. I have not fished with the stealth blade yet, but the thunder cricket I think is amazing, and I'm really liking that Picasso shock blade, they call it. The Little B, all the Z-Man chatterbaits are good. The Project Z is excellent, and it's only $8 compared to the $15 chatterbait. Yeah, John, I've heard. Maybe you were telling me about that Emakatsu Magula moth chatter. I've never tried that. Never tried it. See, Texas Huntsman says the Stealth Blade is better than the jackhammer, and it's good. It is really, really good. I definitely, I would say it's definitely in the top 3, and sometimes it may be better than the jackhammer for sure. I just have more experience and luck with the jackhammer. I've only started throwing that Stealth Blade or shock blade or whatever they call it, really within the last month or so. Yeah, one thing I didn't realize, some of you guys may not know, it's actually not $20 anymore. The the chatterbait, the jackhammer, it's about 15, 15 to 16, but that's still crazy high. You're right, it is crazy high. But part of the reason it costs so much, a lot of times you hear guys say, "Well, the components in it are higher quality and way more expensive, and that's why it costs so much more." That's really not true. Because think about components that go in those baits, man. They're all pretty similar. It's the way it's made that determines how good its action is in the water. But part of the reason it's so expensive is because that lure was created with Z-Man as part of a partnership with Evergreen Fishing Tackle in Japan. And so basically what's going on there, and somebody can correct me if they know more info about this, but the way I understand it, what's going on with the jackhammer is money. When you buy one of those, money goes to the guys in Japan, and it also goes to Z-Man Fishing. And because they've got this business agreement before it was created, they have to pay both companies. And this is why they're charging you so much money for that lure. It sucks for us, but that's the way the ball bounces. And that's why, like the Project Z only costs $8 because it's strictly a Z-Man lure. And they don't have to pay anybody in China or in Japan, not China. Yeah, you're right. Texas Huntsman. Absolutely, man. And Brett Hite has done an amazing job to drive demand for that bait. And he just did it again this week on Major League Fishing when he catches over 100 pounds of bass with the jackhammer. It drives demand. But I believe in it. I mean, I don't think it's just hype. I've fished them all side by side at times, and I'm telling you, that jackhammer is the real deal. Get your fish on. Steve's on. Hey, Steve, I got one of your prize packs today. I thought I'd show some of the guys on the Get Your Fish On and Mr. Bass podcast. We give away prize packs periodically. And I got the Culprit Lures prize pack today, man. It's pretty dang good. Let me show you. I got a pack of 3-inch Incredipunch punch and craws, basically. I got a pack of 7-inch Fat Max worms. in crawdad color. The Fat Max has a thick tail and a fat body. It's a lot beefier than your normal ribbon tail worm. And I got a pack. I got a Water Dragon 7-inch, which is basically their lizard. That's what that is. Okeechobee. You can see the different color in that. That's pretty sweet color right there. And then I got their 6-inch Fast Vibe worm, which is like a speed worm, an Ultra Vibe speed worm. If you don't know the way you identify a speed worm, usually Zoom kind of got that started is right here in the tail. There's this little V in the tail, and you get a lot of vibration from the tail. That's June bug color. And then I got the Flutter Craw in Molting Craw. This is a cool color too. Culprit makes some nice baits. So if you win one of the Culprit prize packs, that's what you get, man. It comes straight to your house. I think that's all that was in there. Check out this color chart that they sent. I love stuff like this, man. Just looking at all the colors they have on their worms alone, man. You think to yourself, come on, do the bass need this many colors? We talk about this all the time, right? It's to catch the fishermen. But dang, there's so many cool colors. There really is. And look, there's a new color, Carolina Clay and June Bug Red. Dang. That was a fun one to get there, Stevie. That was fun. What up, Jeff? How's it going, man? Hank? Back in the day was when I was young, I used a lot of Culprit. You know, that's the beauty of the internet, man. You can just go buy Culprit on the internet. And I'm telling you, I've said this about cream lures too, man. If you're on a budget, don't get sucked down the rabbit hole of buying the most expensive lures out there. There's a ton of quality, cheap lures out there if you just know where to look. The Flutter Craw. Yeah. Yeah, this Flutter Craw does look amazing. And this Molting Craw color, I want to take this one out. Dude. Look at this thing. And this Molting Craw color is really cool. It's got a, you know, it's kind of a shad colored belly, but it's got this greenish tint to it. And then you turn it around and it's dark on this side. And, you know, the great thing about a creature bait of any kind like this is depending upon what you're fishing in, you know, you always have the option to tear stuff off. Start tearing tentacles and pinchers and all kinds of stuff off. Gives it a different action. You can fish it in thick, heavy cover or in limbs and trees. And if you're in open water, you can just leave it all the appendages on there. So that's the Flutter Craw. It's pretty sweet. Right on, Eric. I like it. I like that one a lot. Yeah. So if you watch our Wednesday night show with Steve and I, the Get Your Fish On and Mr. Bass Live podcast every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, we're usually giving away some pretty cool prize packs like that. Right on. Glad you found me, James. Glad you watched Get Your Fish On. In fact, if you don't watch Get Your Fish On, go over there and subscribe. You're missing out. Speaking of Get Your Fish On, how'd you guys well, let me look at comments first and then I'll get back to that. Dude, I agree to Little B. The Reaction Innovations have some great swim baits. The old Skinny Dipper is my favorite. But you're right. I got these big bite baits work great as well. And they remind me a lot. They remind me a lot of the Skinny Dipper. The cane hunters, I've used cane hunters for several years. Those are good swim baits as well. You're right, Frank. Zoom does make great soft plastics, and even though they're what I would consider a mainstream big player in the soft plastic market, they do have very competitive pricing. But if you're super cheap, you don't have any money, go check out Cream Lures, man. I don't think there's anybody on the market that comes even close to those dudes for price. If there is, put it in the comments so we know. Booster C in the house. How's it going, dude? Matthew says I need to check out the OSP MMZ worms. I've not tried them. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. All right. Now, getting back to the Mr. Bass and Get Your Fish On show on Wednesday nights. I'm glad to hear that, Eric. What'd you guys think of our Wednesday show? Our topic, in fact, wait a minute. All right, that's going to be the first question today for a prize. What was the topic on the Mr. Bass podcast show? Get Your Fish On Mr. Bass podcast show Wednesday night. What was our topic of the show? First correct answer gets to spin to win. The little B got it. He was first. Or she. I don't know if the little B is a he or a she, but top 10 pros, top 10 anglers. Right on. Okay, Jeff, my hat. It's Memorial Day weekend. This is the West Point Black Knights, United States Army. I was in the U.S. Army for almost 7 years. And I'm representing because it's Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day, I believe, is one of the most important holidays that we have, if not the most important. It's definitely one of the very most important. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I think sometimes we get these holidays and we don't even think about what they mean. But Memorial Day, to me, is so important. What is Memorial Day? What's it for? The reason Memorial Day was created, it's not to recognize veterans. I'm a veteran. Memorial Day is not for me. And I'll tell you why it's not for me. I'm alive. Memorial Day was created to honor the men and women who have died in battle for our country, to preserve our freedoms and to protect our country. That's what Memorial Day is about. Memorial Day honors those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, their life in battle. And they didn't have to die on the battlefield. It's whether they died from their wounds of any kind on the battlefield. That's what Memorial Day is for. The men and women of World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korean War, the Iraq, and all the other wars out there, including really even going back to the beginning of the nation, I guess. But Memorial Day is for those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, and I urge you to take just a few minutes to think about and thank someone, even maybe God in your heart, for these men and women who died for us. Man, I've been all over the world. I've seen poverty. I've seen communist life. I've seen some terrible stuff, and I'm telling you, there ain't no better place than the free world that we live in. And we're very, very fortunate to have people willing to die to protect it. So, happy Memorial Day. And thank you to those who died. I have one good friend who that I served with in the Army when I was deployed to Bosnia. And great guy, great family man. And he was killed over in Afghanistan. And the way I found out about his death was kind of shocking. The this was years ago, because we've been over in Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran for eons now, probably more than some of your guys been alive. But this show's not even on anymore. But there used to be I don't think it is anyway. There used to be a show called Nightline, and every night at the end of the show, they would just scroll through the names of everybody who had been killed in action over in Iraq and in the Middle East, basically. And I'm looking at the names that night. I just happened to turn the show on. I didn't even watch it, on a regular basis. But that night, I happened to have it on for some reason. And at the end of the show, they show the names, and the names start going across the screen. And I saw this name go by that I was like, that can't be him. That can't be him. It can't. Yeah, Ted Koppel. That's right, the little B. And it was him. So it was, man, I still gets me when I think about what a good man he was. An amazing person. And had 3 or 4 little kids at home, his wife, and, he left them all behind. So anyway, okay. All right. So back to fishing. The top 10 anglers. What'd you think of that show? Did you think that was a good topic? Was it interesting? Was it, what'd you think? Steve and I really had fun doing that show, doing the research for it. And I think we got quite a bit of chatter during the live stream. The next one I want to do when we start doing a top 10 list is, we've talked about doing a show about the top 10 current anglers, the ones that are actually competing right now. So if you retire, if you're retired like the Roland Martins of the world, they wouldn't be in it. it would be very interesting to see that. Yeah, Booster, that's a good topic idea too. Classic preview. I'll put that on my list there. Steve and I can talk about that because I think that would be another interesting topic. Yeah, Bob, I do too. I wish I knew more about it because, as a kid, I'd watch that stuff on Saturday mornings and stuff but I just never paid that close attention to it. And now I really I like going back. You can go on YouTube and watch a lot of the old classics, and that's really fun to watch. Yeah, kick your bass. You're right. It was real hard to name just 10. You try to narrow down just 10, it's hard. You were right, Jim. No doubt about it. Here's another topic. Go-to confidence lures. Yeah, I know. I think that is a good one too. I'm going to write this one down as well. I was talking to Dean about this the other day about how easy it is to just always go back to what you really have confidence in and what you really enjoy fishing with. Yeah, Eric, I haven't forgotten the little B, but thanks for reminding me. I know sometimes I do that, but believe it or not, I have not forgotten about the little B needs to spin. But hey, Booster, yeah, old school bass fishing vids. There's another one out there too. It's a guy's name, I think, and he shows a ton of old classic videos, tournament fishing. It's really fun though. Funny that even though I consider myself pretty versatile and I've tried a ton of techniques, I think I'm pretty good at a lot of techniques. It is amazing how many times I get on the water and the first thing I break out is a chatterbait. And I was telling Dean this today because he went fishing with me today. I was like, I got to get more versatile. I mean, I am versatile, but if you just go out and fish with the same thing every day, you're not versatile. I just love throwing that bladed jig so much that if the conditions look right, even halfway right, I'm usually going to throw that thing first. It's a good search bait for one. Yeah, I've never figured this part out, James. They do this everywhere they go. I remember I was at the Classic at Gunnersville, and the same thing. They load all the fish up and they drive to Birmingham to an arena there and do it there. It's like a 2-hour drive. They got the fish in the live well. I mean, I get it. It's for marketing, I guess, but I don't know why they do that. Yeah, the little B. I know what you're talking about. Lynn Dollar. That's the one I was thinking about, the guy's name. Lynn Dollar is a great channel. If you want to watch old fishing tournaments, he's got a ton of them on his channel. And just remember, they're old, so the video's pretty crappy condition just because that's the way the cameras were back then. But the fishing's still good. Really fun to watch. All right, let's let the little B spin to win here before I do forget it. Really? Lynn has a huge collection of big old crankbaits. Is there any way to see them, Booster? Oh, you get something out of the KVD crate. Wee-hee. Nice. Yeah, Gabriel, I am. I got several of them set aside. We're going to guess some baits. I got to put the little B's name on here to put his name in the drawing for the real. I got the KVD crate down here on the floor. All right. KVD crate. All right. What should we? I'm feeling generous. I think I'll give you 2 things out of the KVD crate tonight. We're gonna go with some caffeine shad and a KVD 1.5 and Phantom Watermelon Red Craw. Congratulations, the little B. Caffeine shad and KVD 1.5 square bill. Nice, nice. Yeah, that looks like a great color. In fact, I just gave that away, so I don't have that color. But hey, you fish with it, the little B, and tell me how it works. John Smith has given us some advice on fishing the wacky rig, weightless. No, he's saying try it with a 1/16 ounce wacky jig head. That's right. It does speed up the action, the rate of fall. Gotcha. You know, I was saying this. I wonder if you guys know about this. Is there any place? Is there like a single website you can go to that gives you all the stats on pro anglers? I had the darndest time trying to find stats on a lot of the anglers, especially the retired ones, some of the retired ones anyway. You would think there'd be a website out there where somebody aggregated all that info in one place. What up, Shannon? Dylan, I'm in Missouri. Yeah, Bass Fan does have a ton of good information, James, but it's still it's probably the best, I guess. I mean, it's definitely the one that I found most of the information. It still doesn't have everything. Yeah, wacky rigging, you can do this a lot of ways. Now that John brought this up and Get Your Fish On's talking about it, they have weights that you can actually insert through the bottom. They have like a wire thing, and you can insert them through the bottom of the wacky rig and then run your hook through that wire. And that gives you a nice even fall. You can also wacky rig and put a nail weight in one end or in both ends, and that gives you a little more weight. I also use, my buddy Joe got me onto these. I use some hooks with, they have a little bit of weight up by the hook eye, like a 1/32nd of an ounce and a 1/16th of an ounce weight. And you can wacky rig that way, and it gives you some weight. And then, of course, the little ball head finesse jig heads is another way to get you a little extra weight on your wacky rig if you want. Right on. Right on. I like my baseball. Definitely like the baseball. I do a baseball hat question every night, Dylan, on here. So that's one way to get a prize. If you know your baseball hats. And I make it hard because I just do minor league teams. If I did the majors, everybody would know those. We have had so much rain here, man. It's insane. Gary talks here. He pegs a 1/16 ounce bullet weight. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to do it. Go Cards. Come on, Dylan. I'm in Kansas City, man. I like the Braves. But the Cards, hey, it's a great National League team. My grandmother was a huge Braves fan, Shannon. Huge. You could not interrupt her during a Braves game. Get this. We used to live in Missouri. She lived down in Alabama because we're from Alabama. We would drive 10 hours to Alabama to see her. And if there was a Braves game on, she would like get out of the way. Don't talk to me until this game's over. She was super loving and affectionate, but if there was a Braves game on, get out of the way. She was hilarious listening to her talk about the pitchers and the hitters. Here she is, an 80-year-old woman, and she's screaming at the TV saying, I could hit that ball. Why can't you hit it? I could hit that ball. What is wrong with you? That was such an easy pitch. Jeez. John, our buddy up in Canada, is getting snow. Not good. Yeah, I got a buddy a guy that I work with up here. He's a big Cubs fan, originally from Illinois. Oh yeah, no doubt, dude. My grandma was the same way. The same way. All right, so let's see what else I was going to talk about here because I wanted to mention. Oh, here's something that happened to me today. Before I get into that, though, let's do another question. Let's do another spin to win question. What? All right, here we go. Grew up in St. Louis, in Springfield. Must say I love the Cards. Yep. Oh, if your wife's from St. Joe, then heck yeah. Well, we got your old Cards manager. What do you think of him, Jeff? I think he's doing a good job with the Royals. I mean, we got our ups and downs. All right. Here's a question for you. Let's put it on the screen here. I've asked this question before, and it's always got a lot of comments. What's your personal best? But let's not do that. Let's do this. What's your personal best this year, 2021? So far, what's your personal best in 2021? And tell us what you caught it on. My best was this year was about a 7.5 pounder. And I caught him on the jackhammer. The jackhammer. Illumination 79 caught an 8.2. What'd you catch it on, man? Gabriel's caught a 2-pounder. The little B caught a 3-pounder on a spinnerbait. Bob's caught a 4.2. Dude, James Barron. First I saw 18-pound. I was like, 18-pound bass. He's saying a blue cat, I guess is what he's saying there. Poor old Jan. I know he's caught fish in 2021, just no bass. Eric's caught a 5.5. Here we go. Texas Huntsman. 6.9 on a Texas rig juggernaut plastic. Dude, plastic baits, especially big plastic worms, catch big fish. Hey, an S-Waver. I got an S-Waver hanging up here. We can show it to everybody in case they're wondering what's an S-Waver. Here's an S-Waver. Not the same color. This is not light trout. This is like a bluegill color. Matthews caught over a 7-pounder on an Edo Shiner jerkbait. That's a mega bass bait. Gary's caught a 3.2 on a 6 cents Crush 50X. John caught a 2-pounder. Dylan's caught a 2-pounder on a popper. Ozark Trails. That's an economy bait right there. Uh-oh, Booster C. My PB this year is embarrassment. Don't give up, man. I know you won't. You're a real fisherman at heart. Uh-oh, Shannon. We got to help Shannon. What can we do here? How can we help Shannon? Not got a bite all year. Dang, sorry, buddy. That's terrible. Oh, and Bob's working. Oh, man. New job. Jeff's got a goose egg as well. I think Jeff, if I remember right, is in Canada. Heck, it's snowing in Canada. I don't know how you Canadian guys are catching anything. Jeff caught a 6-pounder on a buzzbait. Yeah, don't blame you, man. It's catching catfish while it's red hot. Hey, Dylan, I've learned this. I was talking about cheap baits like cream lures. Ozark Trail makes a lot of good stuff. Like that Ozark Trail backpack I did a review on. Go watch that video if you're looking for a cheap backpack. That Ozark Trail, man, it's only $30. It's amazing. Really good. Stuart caught a 3-pound walleye. Man, walleyes, good eating. I love walleye. 6 cent swim jig. No, I have not checked out Toxic Baits yet. Sorry, man. Okay. All right. We're going to ask a question here. What is my last video about? The last video I published. What's it about? That's the question. If you're the first, you can spin to win. What is my latest video about? John Smith, got it. Rats. Not just any rat. Crazy, ridiculous, expensive rat. All right, come on, guys. Be honest with me now. Be honest. I got one sitting right here. Here's a PB rat. This is in the video. What do you guys think? Is it stupid to pay $150 for a rat? I can take it. Jeff says frog fur. Is it a waste of money? Foolish? Or super smart? What do you think? Am I throwing away my money? Ridiculous? What do you think? Insane? I had one commenter on my video say how stupid this is. He said something like, "You have way too much money. You're a moron. You should not waste your money on a rat." How about that? Texas Huntsman. I like your style, man. Do you like it? Do you want one? Does it catch giant fish? Then it's not stupid. Oh, Booster C, man, that hurts. That hurts, man. You can make your own with an old broomstick handle. Gabriel says it's not worth it. Dylan, you're right, man. That would be terrible to get that thing snagged in a tree, wouldn't it? And this is another deal that I get hooked up, I get stuck with. I believe it. I think there's some of these lures are real works of art. Come on, Booster C. You can call me dumb if you want to. You don't have to say for you. I can take it. And hey, James, there's nothing wrong with a good Spro rat. Nothing wrong at all. Yeah, Eric's giving us the exact comment, this guy. He said the pricing is just gross. If you're spending $140 on a fishing lure, you have too much money. He might be right. He might be right. Oh, well. I am going to fish those PB rats. And it's going to be on film when I catch a fish with one. So you will get to see it. Yeah, well, Theodore, unfortunately, so many great things could happen if everybody did it in unison, but we can't ever get on the same page. So that's probably never going to happen. For sure. All right, John. Gabriel's reminded me that we got to spin for John. And he did answer the question right. Rats. John Smith. So we better spin for him. Yeah, Gary's right too. It's not just these big swim baits. You think to yourself, man, I'm going to get me one of those big rats or a big swim bait. All right. If you're going to pay $100 for a bait, don't forget a big rat, a big swim bait. It takes a special rod and sometimes a special reel. You could probably throw a rat on one of the reels you already own, but you need a rod, a big, heavy rod to throw a bait that is that big. Oh man, Booster, you're killing me, man. John, here's your ticket. I'm putting it in the tumbler for the reel. Paint it with brown black. Paint it brown black with markers. Oh, dude, man. See, he's right. That's where he gets into that. Are you buying it to fish or just because it's pretty or expensive? I don't think I could. Hey, here's a funny thing though, Booster. The Cinco, $1 for a Cinco. That's an expensive worm. Jeez. That's high dollar, man, if you're throwing a Gary Yamamoto Cinco. Crazy. All right, let's spin for John. Let's spin for John. All right. One prize is yours, John. What will it be? Eric, I've actually fished with some cash and rods, and I think I own. No, I own a Castaway, but I have fished a cash and rod on a guide trip before. I don't have a ton of experience with them though. Get your fish on, Steve. Are you still on? I think he knows about cash and rods. All right, John wants a hard bait. All right, John. Movement 80X. Where are you going to throw that thing at? $0.06. Movement 80X. Nice. Okay, get your fish ons off. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, there might be some people out here that can give you some ideas on cash and rods, Eric, but I'm not probably the best source for you on that. All right, John's going to throw it in a pond. All right. Stuart Weaver's the new guy. Nice. Actually, I have done that before where I have let the new people spin, but we don't have a lot of new people on here tonight. So that would be like, but you have a chance to win, Stuart, because we're going to play the old name that lure game. And if you know your fishing tackle, you will definitely have a chance to win. Yeah, Jan says there's 3 new folks on. Kyle Mullet's new. Welcome to the channel, man. All right, let's do our first name that lure, and I'm going to do one that should be fairly simple for most people here. This is a soft plastic lure, and the reason I say this should be fairly simple, this is a lure that's been around a long time. So if you've been around fishing for any length of time, you should recognize this fairly easy. So let me clear the screen so everybody can see it. this is a little bent. I need to try to straighten it. Rats. I wish it weren't so bent because. See you, Gary. Have a good one. All right, here we go. First bait up. Sorry, one of the pinchers is bent. What lure is this? What bait is this? Can I do it like that with it? John Gill got it. It's a Berkeley Chigger Craw. This is the 3-inch version. It's a small version, but they make a 4-inch. They also make a few other versions of the Chigger Craw with an extra tentacles and appendages on it, but this is the tried and true Berkeley Chigger Craw. It's a good bait. Makes a great trailer. You can fish this a ton of different ways. All right. Congratulations, John Gill. So, John, you have the choice. You can take home this package of 3-inch Chigger Craws in sapphire blue, or you can spin to win. Matthew, that dude is fast. I don't know how he answers so fast. And he's in Canada. You would think the internet down there, but old John Gill, he knows his stuff, and he's fast. He's fast. Pit bosses for $4. All right, John Gill, there's your ticket for the tumbler. If you're new to the channel and you're wondering what the tumbler thing is, we're giving away this reel when the channel hits 5,000 subs, which seems to be taking a long time at the moment. But here it is, the KVD Quantum Smoke, donated by Chris Hill. We are giving it away. All you got to do is answer a question, and your name goes in the tumbler for the drawing. Bob Witt. I like the Dirty Jigs flipping jig. That's the one I usually throw most of the time. But I've got several of them. I got 10 different flipping jigs actually out there. Is that what it is? He's got a spy camera, spy cam. Man, I better start looking around. Yeah, if you could see my table here, I've got these baits lined out on the table. Maybe that's what old John's doing. Interesting. Does John Gill want to spin? I didn't see his answer. Does he want the baits, or does he want to spin? Anybody see? Those Johns be cheating. Okay. Yeah, Bob. I use the jewel bait flipping jig as well. Absolutely do. Yeah, well, Booster, this smoke is not a low end reel. It's a very nice reel. John Gill won, and then he hopped off. Man, it's hard to give a guy a prize if he jumps off. He'll get back on if he did jump off. Okay, there he is. There he is. He's here. Yep. We see you, John. He said, give it to me, meaning, Daniel Hedrick. That's pretty good. John said to give it to me. That's a good one. Well, I'm just going to spin for John since I can't get an answer here. So let's spin for John and see if he wins anything. Angel. John Gill has hit the angel. If you're new, if you land on the angel, you win a prize, and you get to pick one person in the comments to get a prize as well. So John has won a prize, and now he has to pick someone in the comments. He could pick one of the new guys. It's up to him. But once again, I don't know if he's here or not. Usually he is pretty responsive. Booster C, you can have a bait. Wow, how about that? John Gill. He picked Booster C. So John, tell us if you want a hard bait, soft plastic, or miscellaneous prize, and then Booster, you can tell us what you want. Shannon Kirby was new last week. Thanks for hopping on twice now, Shannon. Appreciate it. John wants a miscellaneous. What do you want, Booster? Booster wants a hard bait. All right. So miscellaneous. All right, miscellaneous. How about the wacky tool, the Mustad wacky tool, John Gill? We've been talking about wacky worming. And Booster C. Booster C. Booster C. The Excite Baits XB1 Square Bill. This color is Bluegill Supreme. For Booster C, congratulations. All right. Let's see what time we got here. Wow, we're moving right along. Let's go ahead and do one more name that bait prize here. Let's see, which one do I want to do next here? Let's go with this right here. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do this one. Another soft plastic lure. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it, man. All right. Here's another lure that this might be hard for some of you, but if you watched my channel, you have seen this bait before. Oh yeah, I'll remind you how to contact me right here, Booster. All right, you can send me a DM on my Instagram account at Mr. Bass TV if you have the gram, the Instagram, the IG. If you don't, you can send me an email at Mr. Bass TV, Mr. Bass TV at protonmail.com. If you win a prize, send me a DM with your name, address, and what you won on Instagram or at this email address. And again, here is my Instagram in case you need it. All right, so here is the next bait. Name that bait. It's another craw. It's another crawdad. It's the Versacraw by Jewel Baits. The Versacraw. Bob had the right company. He just didn't get the right name. It's the Versacraw. So congratulations, James Barron. Old John Smith was trying to give you guys a hint. He was saying it's versatile. That is a really cool little craw. I've been putting it on the back of a jig, and I really like it. The Versacraw by Jewel Baits. All right, James Barron, we got to get you a ticket and put it in the tumbler. So let me do that. James Barron, there it is. All right, and I don't have any Versacross to give you. That was literally, I'm down to my last one there. So we got to spin either way. Hopefully you don't strike out. It's cruel if you strike out. I can't do anything for you. He made it. Tyler, how's it going, dude? Welcome. All right. James, you're on the board. You made it. Pick your poison. Matthew, JDM soft plastics. Well, I have some JDM soft plastics. I might throw some of those in next week. Doing good, Tyler. Doing good. All right. James wants a hard bait. Okay. See what we got here. All right, here we go. This is a Copper's live target crappie crankbait. It definitely looks like a crappie. Square bill. Dives 4 to 5 feet. Live target crappie. All right. Congratulations. That's a good point, Illuminathan. Everything looks like a speed craw from across the room. All right. Well, then here's a good strategy. Every time I put a craw up, just put speed craw. And then eventually you got to win. Because at some point, I've got to throw a speed craw up, right? James, send me a DM on Instagram at Mr. Bass TV. Illuminathan, no, I don't. John, Live Target makes a great frog. They do make a great frog. All righty. So here's something I wanted to run by you guys. How many of you have ever gone out fishing? Today I went out fishing and I got pulled over on the lake by the conservation guys. And I don't know what they do in your state, but in my state, I was on a kayak. What do you think that they ask you for if you're on a kayak? What things would they be looking for if you're on a kayak? If you're fishing a public lake, the conservation department or the highway patrol, either one has jurisdiction. What do they look for? Yeah, they look for a life vest and a fishing license. That's it. That's all they care about. Nothing else. Some states, I think it's more than that. So luckily I was wearing my life jacket. Alcohol, Shannon. They probably would if you had a motorized boat. I doubt they care if you're drinking on a pedal drive kayak, but they might. You're right, Booster. On a big boat, you've got to have some sort of a noisemaker. They want you to have a flag, like a red flag that they want you to have your license, and you got to have a life jacket for every person on board. You also have to have a throw cushion. But for kayaker, all he checked was life jacket and fishing license. So be honest now. Be honest. How many of you have ever been busted, got caught without your fishing license? Any truth tellers on here? Anybody get caught without your fishing license? Did you get a ticket? Okay, Eric, I got a story to tell on that. I'll tell you that in a minute. Bob has. Nah. Most people say nope. You're right, Daniel. In my state, they have this conservation app now, and you can keep your license right on your phone, which is great. Bob got charged $100. Yeah, they're picky over here. In Missouri, the license only costs $12. Why would you not get it? Because you're going to get Well, at least $100 fine if they catch you without your fishing license. Same in Missouri, Texas, Huntsman. As long as you got it on your phone, you're good to go. And then they look it up. They have a number there, and they look up your number to verify that it's legit. And if it is, you're good. Yeah, Bob, that's what happens with a lot of guys. You forget your wallet. So I keep a paper copy of it, usually in my boat. I guess I ought to put one in my kayak somewhere. And then I have my phone. Usually I've always got my phone with me, and then I don't lose it. Okay, here's a good question. I don't have any experience, but maybe some of the guys on here do. Alex, any of you guys tried the Abu Black Max? I've fished with several of the Abu Garcia reels, but never a Black Max. Yeah, Dylan, keep it in your tackle bag. That's another good way to do it. Wow. John Smith pays $135 a year. That's in Canada. Whew. That's painful. Booster says it's a great reel, the Black Max. So does Illuminathan. And Roger. So quite a few people are saying the Black Max is pretty sweet. Yeah, I've bought a lot of out-of-state licenses too, Roger, and they're not cheap. Never are. Yeah, so my buddy Dean, he lucked out because they did this life jacket check, and he doesn't like to wear a life jacket. Most of the time, he's not even brought it with him. But he actually had the life jacket in his boat today when they checked him. Because, like for us, you didn't have to be wearing the life jacket. You just had to have it in your boat. And that's usually true. Anytime I've ever been stopped, they've never said you have to wear the life jacket. It's just got to be in your boat. But I always wear mine. So Dean lucked out and did not get a ticket today because he actually had a life jacket in his kayak. And I think from now on, he'll be sure to take it. Although if you fall in the water, it don't do you much good if it's in your boat. All right, Eric asked about my kayak. And I will give you an update on the kayak, Eric, in just a minute. But first, I'm going to do another Name That Lure. Okay? Name that bait. You may have noticed that today, just like I did last week on the Name That Lure game, I had a theme. It was frogs. This week, it's craws. What could this be? This is the next bait. Name that bait, and you could spin to win. Lou and Nathan. You missed it. You missed it, dude. I was trying to give you a little hint there, a little strategy. And Matthew beat you to it. It's the speed craw. Hands down, in my opinion, one of the best craws on the planet. Somebody said at the beginning of the show, hey, Zoom makes some great baits. This is one of their best ones. The Zoom Speed Craw. Yeah. So Matthew, if you would like a pack of speed craws instead of spinning, I will give you a pack. I'm not giving you this color though, because this color is my tried and true. I'm not giving that color away. Or you can spin to win. You just let me know. Man, now get this. Here we are talking about on the screen about all those craws look like a speed craw, and I say, well, hey, maybe if you just put speed craw in every answer, you'd eventually get it. Lo and behold, the very next craw is a speed craw. Man. All right, let's help out Theodore here. Come on, some of you guys that keep getting the answers so quick. What's the secret? Come on, give up the goods. What's the secret? Matthew, here's your ticket to go in the tumbler. All right, Matthew wants to spin. Oh, man, Tyler, that's a low blow. His strategy says you got to know the bait. Matthew, I just type fast as hell. It's all in the fingers. 2. Matthew gets 2. 2 baits. Probably a pretty good strategy to spin for him. All right. What's your choice, Matthew? What do you want? He wants 2 hard baits. All right. Okay. Huh. Man, I've run into a big flurry of live target lures here. All right. The live target bait ball. The live target bait ball. What color is this? Chartreuse pearl blue shad. Live target bait ball and storm wigglewort. Sweet. That's a Magnum wigglewort, by the way. Wigglewort and bait ball. All right. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Cool. All right. Let's see. All right. So, kayak story. All right. So, some of you guys know I've got the Hobie Pro Angler. It's an amazing kayak, and it has this drive in it called the 360 Mirage drive, and it's got fins that flap, but they also spin 360 degrees so that the boat can go in any different direction. And the way you make that spin is there's a handle on the left side of the boat that you turn while you're pedaling, and it will spin you around. It'll spin those pedals. Well, it started getting really stiff. I couldn't turn it. So I took it into the shop, and yeah, John, I need to do a wigglewort video. I took it into the shop, and they said, we can fix that. So they had it for about a week, and then they said, it's ready. I went to pick it up. I took it back to the lake. And when I got in the lake, it was even worse than when I started. Literally, before when I turned that handle, it might turn really stiff, but I could get it to turn all the way around and then all the way back. This time, the second time, after they fixed it, wouldn't turn at all. See you, Shannon. Thanks, man. Thanks for hopping on the show. Appreciate it. Would not turn at all. So it's back in the shop. Unfortunately, it is back in the shop. So guess what I have gone and done? I'm going to show you what I have gone and done. do. Yeah, I did. I got a kayak with a trolling motor now. How about that? The Old Town Autopilot. I picked it up and fished with it last night for the first time, and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing. If you're getting a pedal kayak, one that you pedal with your feet, that Hobie, I really feel hands down is the best kayak on the market. But if you want spot lock, if you want a trolling motor, dude, this thing is incredible. Daniel, yeah, she knows. She knows. This thing is just amazing. I cannot believe there's a couple of things about this boat, this kayak, that is just awesome. I'm already just amazed by it. The first is the trolling motor. The trolling motor, you can buy a trolling motor and mount it on the bow of your boat. But man, it's a pain. I did that with my Titan. And you got to buy a bracket, you got to find a way to mount the bracket, it's a pain. And then you got to figure out how to wire it, and then you got to figure out how to deploy it, and it's just a nightmare. This thing comes pre-built, pre-rigged, made to fit right in and plug right in, and it's just amazing. And the spot lock technology, of course, is everybody knows about the spot lock technology. It's just incredible, absolutely amazing. And what's beautiful about this thing is you can fish a line. You can fish a grass line. You can find a grass line and fish that grass line and fish the whole time and not spend half your day trying to maneuver the boat. Yeah, John, I ought to do that. A Hobie versus Old Town video. When I get my Hobie back from the shop, maybe I'll do that. And really, this thing is not that expensive. I mean, granted, it's expensive. It's like $3,800. But compared to if you buy a Motor Guide XI3 or XI5 separately for your kayak, you're going to spend close to $1,000 for that anyway. And then, then you've got to go through all the hassle of installing it yourself. So you take $1,000 off for the trolling motor, that leaves $2,800 for this kayak. And it's one of the most stable kayaks on the water. And the rudder is amazing as well. They have really figured out how to do a rudder. Just amazing. Yeah, Illuminathan, I got the 120. So they make two sizes, a 120, which is a 12-footer, and a 136, which is 13.6. I've already had two 14-foot boats, and I decided I wanted to go with a little shorter boat. Even though I have tons of tackle and I love fishing with lots of tackle, when I'm on the water, I'm pretty efficient, and I don't need a ton of space. And I took Goofball out on the boat with me today, and he fits in there just fine. The only downside for him is that the bow hatch is real tiny. The bow space is real tiny because they've got that trolling motor up there. So he's not going to have a big deck out on the bow to lay on like he does on the Hobie. But he did just fine. He enjoyed it quite a bit. Let's see, what's his question? Oh, he's just saying something about it. Yeah, it's funny, Texas Huntsman. I have a Bass Cat bass boat, 28-footer, 250 horse motor. Some of you guys would say, well, heck, you ought to be in that every day. You don't need a kayak. I love the kayak, man. I've gotten to where I like kayak fishing better than bass boat fishing. It's the craziest thing. It's just a blast. And if I keep going the way I'm going, I'm probably going to sell my bass boat. It's just so much fun. And there's definitely some advantages to having a bass boat. Don't get me wrong. I mean, a bass boat's amazing too. But dude, these kayaks are really fun. Yeah, Illuminathan, there is a transducer port. It's, if you look at the bow of the boat on this picture, start at the bow and go underneath towards the trolling motor, and see that little notch before you get to the trolling motor. It looks kind of like the bow comes down and sticks down. There's a notch that sticks down. Your transducer fits right in there. And I actually like that because that puts the transducer at the front of your boat. Instead of on the Hobie, you're actually sitting on top of the transducer. So by the time your transducer gets on top of the fish, you're over and you've already gone past them. At least this gives you a couple of feet here with this transducer up at the bow, up at the front, where you've got a little bit of warning that the fish are there. Yeah, I know, Jan. I don't do a ton of videos on my boat because I'm not on my boat much. Yeah. We talked about this the other day. I don't blame you, Texas Huntsman. I think if I were in gator country, I might be a little nervous about the yak. The little B, I got the blue one. They only make two colors. And one color, well, let's see. I'll just show you the picture again. You've got the orange or the blue. I got the blue. And I'll tell you why I got the blue. It's the only one they had. That's it. That blue in there, I forget what they call the colors, but you can look it up. But it looks pretty sweet on the water. But these are so hard to get, so hard to find in stock, and just a fluke I happened to find one. Literally, I started looking on Wednesday. I called all the dealers in town to see if anybody had them. No, nope. In fact, they're all saying the soonest we're going to get any is maybe September. And so I called one dealer down in the Ozarks, and he said, I don't have one. My next shipment's coming in September or October, but he said Shields in Kansas City has one according to the inventory sheet. So I picked up the phone and called Shields, and sure enough, it was there. So I bought it on the spot. On the spot. All right, let's spin. Let's do another Name That Lure. We can spin to win. Let's see here. All right, you guys know the theme tonight, right? You know the theme. Name that craw. Illuminate. Good strategy, man, but we just did that one. You got it anyway, man. It's the Flapping Hog. The Flapping Hog, which is my favorite jig trailer. The Flapping Hog by Gary Yamamoto Custom Baits. In fact, I want to show you how I rig the Flapping Hog on a jig in case you've never seen this done before. Let me find a jig here. I think I got one sitting over here. All right, I do. All right, so this will not be any revelatory news for some of you, but some of you it might be. Okay, how do you usually rig a trailer on a jig, right? You go through the nose and around and put the hook through, and it's on like that, right? That's how most guys do rig their trailers on jigs. And I do that with most of my trailers, but not my Flapping Hogs. With my Flapping Hogs, I do something a little different. So this is what I do here. I may not be able to show you on camera. I do it like this. Like someone said, like a pork trailer, right? Kind of. A pork trailer, you just leave hanging like that. And I don't do that. I definitely don't do that. These baits would not last very long if you did that at all. What I do is I run that thing all the way down like this, but I turn it up, and then you figure out where that thing's going to stick at right there, and you punch it through like that. That's how you do it. It will stay on there a really long time. And look at the profile it gives you in the water. You got a picture of this floating in the water, and it does this. You're hopping your jig along the bottom, and it sticks your tail up like that instead of flat. That's how I rig my Flapping Hogs, and it works great. So just a little Little tip there. If you've never tried that before, you may want to. The Flapping Hog. Illuminathan 79. I got to get you a ticket. Illuminathan. $79. All right, there's your ticket for the tumbler. All right, Illuminathan, you can take home a package of Flapping Hogs if you wish, or you can spin to win. What is your choice? We aim to please the little bee. If you don't have fun, maybe you'll learn something. If you don't learn something, maybe you'll have fun. Illuminathan wants to spin. We haven't had a strikeout at all today. Could Illuminathan be our first? Woo-hoo! KVD crate. Holy cow. 2 KVD crates in one night. I can't believe that. All right, Illuminathan, KVD crate. You win a Strike King hat. That's right. It's a neon yellow Strike King hat. KVD would be proud. Would be proud of that hat, I'm sure. All right, what else was I going to talk to you guys about? I think I might have hit everything. I put them on my little whiteboard here. All right, I got that done. Top 10s. Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day. TourneyX. That TourneyX is fun if you want to do some tournaments. Check it out. PBs, get your fish on. Chatterbaits. New kayak problems. Dude, that's it. That's my whole list. Yeah, Nathan, you can send me your address. I'll put this up again. You can DM me on Instagram at Mr. Bass TV. Or you can send me an email. MrBassTV@protonmail.com. Send me your name, your address, and if like yours, Illumination 79. So send me that Illumination 79, but also give me your name and your address, what you won, and I will get it to you shortly. All right, I have a question. When you're about to fish a spot and you know you're going to do topwater at some point, do you throw topwater first or wait? For me, it totally depends on the conditions, Roger. Like first thing in the morning, I'm definitely going to throw the topwater. And if it looks like the conditions right for a topwater bait, like if it's overcast, if I'm throwing a walk the dog style bait like a spook, even in the middle of the heat of the day, like noontime when the sun's straight overhead. I like to throw a spook then. But normally, if I don't think the conditions are right, I'm just going to fish it first. And then, maybe later in the day, if the conditions change, especially around dusk, when the topwater bite starts to pick up, I'm going to throw the topwater. That's what I do. Good strategy. So, Luminathan, you guys can, you guys who are asking, what's the secret? Move closer to the TV if you're watching this on TV, or move closer to your phone. Now that is a problem. If you're trying to answer questions on your phone with your thumbs, that might slow you down. And don't do this. Roger says he second guesses himself. I just go with your gut, Roger. If you feel like the topwater is going to work, it's not going to hurt if you throw the topwater and they don't hit it. And then you can throw something in there around it. The one thing with topwater is, this is true with most baits, but particularly with topwater, is it's not an open water bait. Not that you can't lure them in open water, but you really should be throwing your topwater at targets, stumps, laydowns, rocks. And in fact, I don't think I've put my canoe video up yet. I went fishing with Dean a couple weeks ago, and my kayak was broken, and I had to there was a canoe there at the pond, though, so I hopped in the canoe. It was a total nightmare trying to fish out a canoe. Total insanity. But one of the very first fish I caught, I wasn't fishing a topwater. I was actually throwing the chatterbait, but I saw this underwater stump. It was underwater. I had my sunglasses and I could see the stump. And I threw my chatterbait straight at the stump. I threw it past the stump and then pulled it, reeled it to me so that it would hit that stump and kind of go around it. And the second I hit the stump, bam, I got hit. And that's really key. Matthew's right too. If you're fishing topwater, look for the shady areas, and points are always good. Weed lines are great. Like I got a buzzbait video that if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And a lot of those buzzbait fish I'm catching along the weed line. It's the grass line there, and you can see some of that, how that works. Thanks for the sub, Alex. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hit the like button before you leave, if you would. Greatly appreciate that. Theodore, I am using electronics for the yak. And although I love Garmin, I would love to have the Panoptics, the live scope, and that kind of thing. I've already dropped way too much money on Lowrance units. So because I have Lowrance units on the boat, I also have the same Lowrance unit on my kayak, same transducers, same units, and then I can switch waypoints back and forth, and then I don't have to learn a different piece of electronics. So yeah, I'll show you that too, all that when I get that installed on the boat. Yeah, definitely. I fish those sprinkers the same way I do any kind of a whopper plopper or anything. And I'm usually throwing the buzz bait before I throw that tackle sprinker frog. But sometimes if you're in a pressured area where you want to throw something that they're not used to seeing all the time, because they see a ton of buzz baits, ton of whopper ploppers, That Teckle sprinkler frog, it's pretty sweet. Dude, you put that live side or whatever they call that with Garmin with that SV73 thing, dude. That's going to be a blast. A blast. All right, we're out of time. Show's over. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the love. Please share the channel. Subscribe. Go get your Fish On's channel. Subscribe to his channel too. Would greatly appreciate that. Be sure to join us Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. And we will see you Wednesday night. You're right, Matthew. It flew by. I had a great time. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate you guys joining us. Have a great night. We will talk to you later. We are ending in 3, 2.